Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, singer and songwriter Stephanie Jeannot. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Miss Stephanie Jeannot, singer and songwriter extraordinaire. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's so great to have you. You know, we love ladies who are doing big things in the community, and you're definitely somebody who came up as doing some great things, especially with your body of work. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
So my famous question that I ask all my guests before we ever get started, I call it kind of like discovery. Who is Stephanie Jeannot? Let's take it back before we get to all the music. Who is Stephanie Jeannot?
Stephanie Jeannot is a Brooklynite. I'm Haitian. I'm a singer, songwriter. I also write poetry. I'm a recent graduate of Medgar Evers College, magna cum laude.
Great.
I host a radio show there called Jazz on the J Notes because I related jazz to like the language Creole because it is like a Creolese, and people who are in Haiti, like they'll always ask you, do you speak Creole? But the main language in Haiti is French, and a lot of people don't know that.
Really?
Yeah, that's the official language of Haiti.
I thought it was Creole.
So, like, if you live in Haiti and you speak French, then you're looked at as elite. But if you speak Creole, people will look down at you. And that's how music is. If you do R&B versus jazz, you're like uppity.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
So I love music. Obviously, I'm a big music lover. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I love to write. I love to sing. That's my favorite thing to do in the world.
So when did that love for music, poetry, writing, when did you start to tap into that?
I started singing, like watching Michael Jackson moonwalk across the screen, like when I was a baby. And ever since, it's just been in me. Like, I've been singing all my life.
In terms of the music, though, before you found jazz,
yes,
did you find other musical genres that you gravitated towards, that you definitely had an interest before you finally decided to pursue jazz?
Yeah. Well, R&B, definitely. I grew up in the Catholic Church, so I was in every choir, every school, and every church.
Absolutely.
That my family went with me to. So I love, like, the hymns. I really do. I really enjoy singing them. And it's like classical singing, as opposed to like, well, now I go to a non-denominational church, so it's more like a bluesy gospel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know the difference, yeah. And
the Catholic Church has their own very specific.
Yeah.
Whereas there's this more, I call it like global gospel music.
Exactly.
That's, just more inspirational, positive music.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. So like I grew up singing in the Catholic Church and also listening to Whitney Houston, who was like a big inspiration for me. And then Mariah Carey, she's like my favorite singer. Like I used to sing her songs all day and like
especially in the 90s. If you're a 90s baby, Mariah was like, that was her era.
Yes, she's an amazing artist. And Amel LaRue, I love Sarah Vaughan. I love music.
That is great. So when you decided to pursue music full time, especially when you have Haitian parents, Caribbean parents, we know that they're not always the most supportive of a musical career.
Right.
They have a different path for us. They have a different focus of what they, would hope and aspire us to be. And music is still looked at as a hobby sometimes, as opposed to a real career. So how did you face that?
It's true. But then you had to look at the reality of things because, like, thinking about all that happened in 2020 with COVID-19 and so many people dying, and it makes you realize, like, when they actually speaking to you about these things is because, they're not going to always be here. So they're worried to make sure that when they're not here, that you can take care of yourself. That's why. Yes. So that's the reason, because they don't know, not everybody's a Beyonce. Not everybody is going to make it that far, but you still pursue it, like, if you love it. So that's the reason why.
I love that. If you pursue it, you love it. And that's truth,
Yeah.
They say it's a very small percentage of people who actually get to the Beyonce level.
Right.
Of course. But doesn't mean just because you didn't get to the Beyonce level doesn't mean you're not successful.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's another thing. And there's different ways, especially now. I think the industry has changed so much just through streaming. I mean, artists now can stream their music. Your music could be listened to all in Europe or Africa, and people who you never would have conceptualized to know your music now have access to your music.
Yes.
And there's so many streaming services. Yes, they do. I feel they do still rob the artist a little bit, getting like 1 or 2 cents per stream. But, you get enough streams, you can still survive.
Well, like before when they played on the radio, as opposed to the artists who do write songs, like if you are just the singer of the song, you might get 5 cents to spin on the radio. So it's not that different than before.
It's true.
But now it's just that, like, there's so much that's been taken away from music. Like, there's no more CD players, even though you want to have a CD. You want to have the album. You want to have this. And some of these things are becoming obsolete. Like, cars or computers don't have CD players anymore.
Yeah, they don't even have the slot for it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit interesting. So how do you, as an artist, then keep up with all of these different trends and tap into not just falling into the trap of where artists focus on the creative part and they neglect the business part of it?
I guess you still have to just be human and be able to be relatable to people and just, like, be able to have a conversation and talk about what your goals are, because that's what's important too. It's not, the creative side is important, but it's also important to, like, be bold enough to talk about where you want to take it, like, and not be afraid to pursue it.
And having that understanding that it is your money at the end of the day, it's your intellectual property. A lot of times, and I've spoken to so many artists who they just want to touch the mic, they just want to get on stage, but I'm like, is your music registered? Do you have did you do this?
That's true.
Like, did you do those little things that can actually set you apart from everybody else? Because if you're just making music and you don't register that beat, somebody else will take that beat.
Right.
And then you hear it all the time where stories of not taking care of that business aspect of it because they're so focused on the creative part. But also part of being a good artist, if you know that's not really your strong point, that's where you delegate people to possibly take care of that.
Yes. That's
but
true.
It's all about finding people you could trust.
Yeah.
So are you a one lady show?
I could play piano a little bit. During the quarantine, I wrote this entire album with my piano, and this guy from Chicago, like, we teamed up and we just started working together.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I would send him beats every day, and he would send me back with the bass lines. And so then we put this out in October 10th, and, it's registered.
Yes, you took care of your business.
The lyrics, the music, yeah, it's important.
And that is important because if you don't take care of that as an artist, I think you're selling yourself short. And if you really do want to make this as a profession, make sure your things are set. And I always have higher respect for artists is the fact that you did that. You registered the lyrics, you did everything in there. You're taking the time to make sure that you're set and you do value this as a career, which is super important. But we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, Stephanie is going to sing from this new album. We're going to talk about the album, do a deep dive, and get a little something. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Stephanie, you were talking about the album. This is your third album?
Yes.
Third album. Okay, so let's talk about the album. What went into this? How long did it take? How long were you working on it?
Okay, so when they declared it a quarantine and we had to be inside and we couldn't do much, like, you know, I had people dying around, like my friends, and my drummer died, and it was just like started to become overwhelming. So like when you're in this state of quietude, it can actually make you sick. Like, you don't have to get sick from the pandemic or from COVID-19. You can get sick from internalizing everything.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need an outlet to let go. So it kind of is a healthy outlet, actually, because music is very healing. And so like I just put my time and effort into like practicing the piano, and then it just dawned on me that, you know, some of the stuff I was practicing could go into songs. And me and John Mueller from Chicago, we teamed up. We met on Instagram, and we just
love it.
Yeah, we just became instant friends, and we could be on the phone for like 5 hours, which is weird. Like yesterday, we did a Zoom session for 5 hours writing songs. That's how we started this project. And then, you know, we gave ourselves a deadline, and he was like, I said, okay. So like every day, I was up till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning just writing songs, every day. Wow. In April, I wrote about from April 15th to May 15th. I wrote almost 25 songs.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So no
Piano,
case of no writer's block for you.
No. Sometimes it takes a storm to let the storm out.
That's amazing. So of those 25,
okay,
how many of those made the cut? Looks like 13.
Yes, 13 songs on there.
So how did you come about making that selection process of what would actually get put on the album?
So the selection process was that you know, since we worked together, like most of the tracks that we did, like I put the tracks together and sent it to him, but there were some that he put together and sent to me, and then I put my voice on it and stuff like that. So I didn't want to be selfish and just be like me. So I put some of what I did, and some of what he did. Yeah. Even though we both did it. But
yes.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So then also I always wanted to celebrate this town, Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a song, an anthem called Brooklyn, to celebrate Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn is the place to be. Been to so many cities, decoding the world's mysteries. There is so much more to see, but Brooklyn's where the party's at. If you've been there, then you know that. To know it's to love it. Ain't no other place like Brooklyn. Because I've been places around the world. So like when, you know, and the funny thing is like when you go somewhere else, no matter where you go, and they say, where you from? You say Brooklyn. They're like, oh, I know this person who lives on Flatbush. You know, Michael. It's like
we don't know the whole Brooklyn.
Everybody loves Brooklyn. So like, that was one of them. The other one was, I always wanted to, me being Haitian, my family's Haitian, so like, I'm actually the worst Creole speaker in my house. So like if I try to speak Creole in the house, they speak English.
They're like, girl, just let it go.
So like I had this a Haitian translation book, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna write my song. So I wrote a song called Haitian. And the scenario is like, you know, people are always asking you, where you from? So like it goes like, it's a scenario where a guy sees me in the club, and we start talking and getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. He's like, where you from? And I say, I'm Haitian. So it goes, hey, baby, do you want to dance with me? He told me about himself. He made me come out of my shell. He asked me for my digits so I could spend time with him, to get to know more about his flow. We talked and danced all night. And then he felt inclined to ask me where I'm from. And then I said with love, yeah, I am Haitian. C'est haïtien, ouais. Haïtien, c'est qui t'y mwen. Creole c'est langue parler. C'est haïtien moyen, c'est haïtien moyen, c'est haïtien moyen. And I got to add some of my culture to it too. So
absolutely, that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Thank you.
So was that difficult for you to act? Like you actually had to practice that, like a little bit, getting it down, because speaking it, singing it would sound different.
Yes.
So you had to do a little bit of all that.
Yes.
Wow. Has your family heard the track?
Yeah, they heard it.
And what do they think?
They thought it was cool. My father was like, "Oh, compa." That's what he says. Compa.
I would have to hear the beat, but I actually love compa, because for me, there's certain carnival compa that's very similar to like our soca in Trinidad. You know, the carnival music. It's all very, very similar.
It is.
So yeah, compa is just a very festive, and then guyad. I've checked out those guyad challenges. I'll be trying to make a baby with somebody. So I have seen the guyad challenges and been to a Haitian boat ride. I was like,
okay, yeah.
I was like, this is different. It's very intimate. It's very nice.
It is, yeah.
You have to go with your own partner because they will be trying to dance with you all night.
All night.
But it's great though. So for you now, the album's out. What's going to be next for you? You have 3 albums. So how does this one compare to your first 2 projects?
Well, the first project, it was really not something I was planning to do, like outright, I need to make an album. It was because this tour manager had contacted me and he asked me if I wanted to do a tour in Russia. So, like, I was like, okay. And he gave me 10 cities, and one of them was going to be a Philharmonic Hall with a 25-piece orchestra. So I was like, well, I can't go there without a CD because I didn't have one. So I had to make one just to go and have some kind of merch.
So you've done a tour in Russia?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that your only international... What other international places have you performed at?
I've been to Russia, 10 cities. The second time I went, I did Siberia, which is also in Russia. And then I went to Minsk. But that was basically, like, in that area.
So you did an Eastern European stint. How were you received over there?
I was received well.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm still friends with a lot of the musicians that I played with, because it was like 10 cities in 16 days, which was like 10 flights, 3 car rides that were 5 hours long, and 3 train rides that were 10 hours long. And 4 or 5 bands out of all of that. So, like,
wow.
I made friends with them. We still talk sometimes, and it's nice.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a quick break. When you come back, we'll pick back up, wrap up that. I want to know a little bit more about this tour and get to know about your 2021 plans. So stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Stephanie, you told us about the Eastern European tour, all the music, all these great things. You're going into 2021. How do you feel? How do you feel post-COVID and having so much great inspiration? What is really next for you?
It's not really post-COVID because
we still are in COVID.
We still are in COVID. You know what? I say
I'm
that
projecting post-COVID vibes.
I would like to. I mean, I work with as a teacher. I work with kids, right? So, like, them being now remote only, and I have to do remote teaching, and now they're talking about going back in the classroom, and people over 65, they want to stay inside now because they're getting sick, and it's crazy.
It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot to think about, and people are dying. It's just I hope 2020 could. I wish 2020 could end right now, like could be over, because hopefully there'll be a better year in 2021. Like a lot of gigs got canceled, which is okay because like I'm not like dying to perform, even though I would like to perform with Johnny, because we haven't gotten a chance to do a album release party, because he's in Chicago. Then they have those COVID laws where if you go there you have to be in quarantine for 20 days, and
it's they're making it a little bit difficult. So
Yeah.
It's a lot. In terms of social media, of course, I think positive effect. That's how you met
Yes.
Mr. Johnny over here.
Yes.
So, what is your social media handles? How could everybody at home get in contact with you for music, connecting, all that good stuff?
Okay. Just so you know, everybody calls me J-Notes. That's my nickname, Jnote. So, my on Instagram, I'm Jnote Music.
How do you spell that?
Jnote Music. Okay. Yeah. On Facebook, Jnote Music. My website, jnotemusic.com.
Very consistent. Consistency. I like that.
Thank you.
In terms of, new music and getting inspiration, because you seem to be able to pump out music pretty quickly. And that's a blessing, because you hear some people like stuck on one project for months and the longest time, Are you still planning to write and create some more?
Yes, because I read a lot, so they say the writer's always reading and the reader's always writing.
Yeah.
So like the more you read, the more you write, because I'm a writer. Yes, my major was professional writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm always writing.
Always doing that. And what about poetry? Because you did touch upon that a little bit. Are you still writing poetry?
I love poetry. That's one of my...
Really?
I write poetry more than songs. Like, I've been writing poetry since grade school. Yes.
Do you ever look back at some of your older stuff?
I do, because I have a bin full of notebooks that I have to, like, comb through. But I do have a poetry book on Amazon. Yeah.
Girl, please tell us.
It's called, pulchritudinous. It's my favorite word. Pulchritudinous, it means beautiful. And it's just like almost like an autobiography. But yeah, Pulchritudinous by Stephanie Jeannot.
So you're also an author. Self-published?
Yes.
I love it. Tell us more about the book. It's how many pages? Quick read?
It's a quick read. I wanted to write, and I said I was going to stop at 5,000 words, so that was my goal. And once I reached it, I published it. Yeah.
That is great. So, you're on Amazon, so you'll be able to check that out. Pulchritudinous.
Yes.
It's a perky, nice word. I like that.
Thank you.
It's a cute word for sure. Would you describe it as a compilation of all your poetry, or as a series?
No, it's just a compilation of, like, my experiences, like, from young to old. So there's a lot of things.
There's a lot in there, right?
Yeah, you probably be like, whoa. She say that? Yeah.
But that's the beauty of poetry. It allows you to share your moments. That's why I asked you ever look back at maybe stuff from middle school or high school or when you were early 20s and just read back on it. And sometimes you can look back and be like, like you said, did I really say that? Is that what I was thinking?
Yes.
What was I feeling in that particular moment? Because it's really a reflection.
Exactly. Of
that particular scenario or something that might have happened. But do you find that you write more when you're happy, sad, indifferent, no particular emotions?
Equally both. Yeah, so like if I'm sad, like I can write with tears coming out my eyes, and that will happen too. I'm always writing something. Like if I'm reading, I see a quote, I'm like, oh, that's a nice one. And I write it down, like, and then it comes up in a song. Something like that.
And then it'll be an inspiration for a song.
Yes.
That is great. I mean, this has been phenomenal. You're a great artist. Looking forward to when you could actually do some real performances here. When outside is open again at some point, do you foresee yourself doing any Brooklyn shows?
Definitely. Yes.
You got to sing that. You're gonna have to sing that Brooklyn anthem.
Yes. Yes.
In Brooklyn.
Yes, I've performed it out. Like in the street, like I did a street performance and
really,
yeah, with the band and everything.
Where was this?
It was in Bed-Stuy, the Bed-Stuy area. Yeah,
that is really nice. Yes. And yeah, and because people are craving outdoor.
They are.
People want.
They're craving outdoor things. They're craving
culture and music.
Yeah, just to be out of this pandemic. It's like it took over everybody's life. It's like, it's like never ending and.
I know.
Yeah.
It really is, but at the same token, we're happy that we're healthy.
Yes,
we're here. Thank God. We're able to, you're still able to make music. What about virtual performances?
I've done a few of those too. Like, I did for the Harlem Jazz Swing Dance Society. Like, I've done a performance for them. I did this other one that was like a Facebook Live thing with the band, and they had a room like this. Yeah, it was nice.
The only thing with that is, like, you just don't have the audience connection.
Yeah, the audience, and you feel the vibration. It's just the whole.
It's so different.
thing.
I've spoken to so many artists who have been doing benefit concerts and different performances, and that is the one key thing they said, you know.
Yeah, you miss that.
You miss that. You don't hear the screams. It's like the players who have to play in the fields with
yeah,
no audience,
seats, yeah,
empty seats.
It's so crazy.
And it's like they don't understand that it's the cheers and the screaming and the excitement that if you're an artist, if you've been on stage, or anyone who's been on stage, you know that is what fuels you for sure.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be an element that everyone's going to miss.
That's true.
But 2021, we hope to have you back. I would love to have you back.
I would love to be.
You probably have a 4th album by then, the way you write. So that'll be great. But thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Great. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.